When I have leftover rotisserie chicken, I usually end up making chicken burritos or enchiladas. These burritos are easy to make, and I can make them to everyone's individual taste, and I can use what I have in my refrigerator and pantry. I have a great white chicken enchilada recipe on my channel, and I will leave a link in the Show More box below. I'm starting by making the chicken mixture for the burritos. In my skillet on medium heat, I'm adding in a couple tablespoons of oil and 3/4 cups each of diced onion and bell peppers. Cooking and stirring for a couple minutes, and then I'm adding in 3 cloves of minced garlic. Cooking and stirring for another minute. And these are the Mexican blend of spices that I'm using. I have 1 tablespoon of taco seasoning, 1 teaspoon each of oregano, cumin, and chili powder, and 1/4 teaspoon each of white pepper and salt. I'm adding the spices to the pan, stirring and cooking for a minute to wake up and blend those flavors. Just be careful not to burn the spices. Adding in 1 4-ounce can of chopped green chilies with the juices, giving that a stir to mix. I have about 3 cups of shredded rotisserie chicken. I'm adding the chicken to the pan and giving it a good mix to get all the chicken coated and heated through. I have some homemade salsa that I made this past summer. It is mildly hot, and I'm adding in a good 3 tablespoons to the chicken. You can use a salsa of your choice, giving that another good toss to incorporate. The burrito chicken mixture is done, and I'm removing it from the heat, covering and setting to the side. For the extra fillers or goodies in the burritos, I have some shredded lettuce, tomatoes, onions, jalapenos, and avocados. This is where you can individualize the burritos to everyone's taste. Use what you have or what you like. For another filler, I also have some black beans that I heated through, and I'm adding in a couple tablespoons of my salsa. If I have any extra rice, I use that with the mixed in salsa instead of the beans. I'm using the big 12-inch flour tortilla wraps for the chicken burritos. I have a lot of items and good flavors going into these burritos, so I need a big tortilla. I'm lightly heating them in my cast iron pan to make them pliable and take out that raw flavor. Heating them for about 20 to 30 seconds on each side on low heat. And finally, we are ready to assemble these big chicken burritos. First, I'm laying down the shredded cheese, and I use a sharp cheddar cheese. The cheese kind of holds and glues everything together. A good couple spoonfuls of the chicken mixture. Now the black beans. A couple spoonfuls of salsa for a little sauce or moisture. And I also like a little squeeze of lime that wakes up all those flavors in the burrito. It brings some brightness and freshness. We love avocados, so they are a must in the burrito. A sprinkle of onions. For some heat, I'm adding in some slices of jalapenos, some fresh chopped tomatoes, a handful of shredded lettuce, and finally a couple dollops of sour cream. And that's about all I can fit into this burrito. And you know the next part. Bring in the sides and give it a roll. I'm calling this chicken burrito done, but you could also put this back into the pan on low heat and lightly toast on both sides. Put the burrito seam down first so it doesn't fall apart. As you can see, this big chicken burrito is chock full of flavors and textures. So good. You can make the burritos your own and the way you like them. Hopefully my recipe will give you some ideas. Serving tonight with refried beans and more lime. I hope you give this chicken burrito recipe a try and enjoy. We love chicken enchiladas, and these white chicken enchiladas are officially our new favorite meal. Very quick and easy to make with simple ingredients. This is also another recipe to use that leftover roasted or rotisserie chicken. I have about 2.5 cups of shredded chicken. Instead of just adding the cheese and mixing, I'm adding some flavor with 1/4 teaspoon each of salt and black pepper, 1 teaspoon each of cumin and chili powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. These seasonings will add a lot of flavor to the enchiladas. I'm adding in 1 cup of Monterey Jack cheese and giving everything a good mix. And now for the yummy white sauce. In my pan on medium heat, I'm adding in 3 tablespoons of butter and 1 cup of finely diced onions. Cooking and stirring for a couple minutes, and then I'm adding in 1 good teaspoon of minced garlic. Cooking and stirring for another minute. Adding in 3 tablespoons of flour to make that roux and thicken the sauce. Cooking and stirring for a minute or two to absorb and slightly cook the flour. Slowly pouring in 2 cups of chicken broth and turning my heat up to bring this up to a simmer. Giving it a good stir and adding in 1 6-ounce can of green chilies with the juice. You will be amazed at how much flavor these chilies add to the sauce. Adding in a little more salt to taste, and not much because the cheese contains a good bit of salt. Cooking and stirring and bringing this back up to a simmer until the sauce thickens. After the sauce forms, I'm turning off my heat. To add a little more creaminess, I have 3 tablespoons of cream cheese, stirring until the cheese is incorporated. And one of the key ingredients to these white chicken enchiladas is 1 cup of sour cream. Again, stirring until incorporated. Give the sauce one last taste test for any seasonings. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm putting a couple spoonfuls of the white sauce on the bottom of my baking dish so the enchiladas don't stick. I have flour tortillas that I microwave for about 15 seconds so they're more pliable and easier to roll the enchiladas. I'm putting on about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of my chicken mixture. You don't want to make them too full. This recipe makes 8 enchiladas. Pouring my white sauce evenly over the enchiladas. I'm giving the pan a shaky shake to level out the sauce. Sprinkling the other cup of shredded Monterey Jack cheese over the top. I also found 1/4 cup of mozzarella cheese in the fridge, and that's going on the top as well. The chicken enchiladas are going in the oven uncovered for 20 to 25 minutes and then putting under a low broiler for a minute to brown the top. The chicken enchiladas are done and smelling good. These are really hot. I'm going to let them rest for about 10 minutes before digging in. These enchiladas turned out so good. This is one of those recipes you make and the family requests to put it on heavy rotation on the menu. The white sauce is so creamy and good. The cumin and chili powder really adds a lot of flavor to these enchiladas. You can top them with chopped green onions or even some cilantro. I highly recommend that you try these white chicken enchiladas. You won't be disappointed. Enjoy! I'm making a simple pico de gallo for the fajitas. This adds a nice freshness and brightness to the fajitas. I have a couple chopped plum tomatoes, a green onion, half of a seeded jalapeno, and a couple chopped garlic cloves. I'm adding a little salt, juice from half of a lime, and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Giving that a toss and refrigerating until the chicken fajitas are done. Here I have a large thinly sliced boneless chicken breast that I cut into about 1 to 2 inch pieces and about 1/8 of an inch thick. Seasoning with some salt and black pepper, a good dose of chili powder, cumin, and then drizzling with some olive oil, about a tablespoon. And then I'm adding in the juice of the other half of lime, giving everything a good toss to get thoroughly combined. In my skillet on medium-high heat, I'm adding in some oil and the chicken, cooking and stirring for 6 to 8 minutes or until the chicken is done, and then I'm removing from the pan. You will be able to find this recipe in the list of ingredients in the Show More section below. If you click on the word Show More, it will open and reveal this recipe, links where you can purchase some of the items that I use, and much, much more. If you have a chance, please check it out. In the same skillet on medium heat, I have the remaining oil and I'm adding in the sliced onions and bell peppers, and I have a combo of green and red. A little more salt, and cooking and stirring for 5 to 7 minutes or until the veggies start to soften. I do have the other half of the jalapeno from the salsa, and I'm adding that into the mix. In goes the minced garlic, and here's about a tablespoon of the chipotle adobo sauce, and this is just the sauce. Cooking and stirring for about a minute. You can add some of the chopped chipotle pepper for more heat. Adding the chicken and the juices back into the pan, giving it a toss, and it's done. Now let's make the fajitas. I'm toasting some flour tortillas in my cast iron skillet. The chicken and veggies smell so good. Adding some lettuce, some of the pico de gallo, and topping with some sour cream. You can also add cilantro, avocados, or anything else that you like. These homemade chicken fajitas are stuffed full of chicken, onions, peppers, and flavor. Perfect for an easy and healthy weeknight dinner. You can make these popular Mexican chicken wraps at home, and they are much better than at the restaurant. I hope you give these chicken fajitas a try, and enjoy! If you like this video recipe, please hit the like and subscribe button. Remember to hit the bell next to the subscribe to make sure that you get my future video recipes. You can also find me on Facebook and at my website. Feel free to share this recipe and my channel with your friends and family. And until next time, much love!